Let's get to the money.
Let's get to the
Money.
Let's get to the
Money. Let's get to the motherfucking money.
Fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, 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 fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. Middle finger in the air screaming fuck the bookies. Woke up in the morning, grab my little black book. Yesterday can eat a dick, cause we lost by the hook. Can't win them all, so you never see me get shook. Today's a new day, the bookmaker's getting cooked. When I spot a dirty keg of 4 units getting played, always find the value, I would never be afraid. Scary money don't win, but I'm not going all in unless I see a bet I love, then I put my balls on a bookie's chin. Let it all soak in, doubling my bread, winning money with my friends. If you got the itch and you wanna go big, follow Sharpie bets and you gon' really fucking win. This is not financial advice, it's entertainment. But if I find the right price, believe I'm parlaying it. You can see my spreadsheet, I'm winning, not just saying it. Profit in the green every week, I'm never negative. I can bet an ace or a shitty old picture. Pick the right spots cause I'm the K-pop whisperer. Shut up when I speak until you finally get the picture. I'm the best in the world, tell me you getting richer. Fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, 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 fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. Middle finger in the air screaming fuck the bookies.
Let's get to the motherfucking money.
And here we go.
Hey, welcome to the Balking Dead, guys, where there is no sleep for the wicked. It's Friday, and we're down 3 units this week on pitching props. It's too early in the show to cuss. Acceptable in my opinion, guys. But I had this day circled 3 days ago. Instead of a nice week, I'm now going to get all my damn money back, guys, and I wouldn't want it with any other guy in the world. No homo. On screen with me talking K-props other than Spin Doc himself. How you doing, my guy? And I'm glad you found your ball this morning, even though it was,
doing well.
it was in the middle of the fairway, bro, and it took you like 20 minutes.
For those of you that golf that are on here, you know the feeling when you actually hit a ball that's close to the fairway and you see it land and then you can't find the fucking thing. Thankfully, I found it and almost made par. Almost bogey putt.
Hey, I suck at golf, but I would take my kid out, and that would happen to me every time. I would see where the ball lands, and then I'd get there and be like, "Are you
the damn thing
kidding me?"
It was a
And I
good
just drop it. All right, you were right here, bro. Let's go.
It was one of my best Pro V1s too. So I was pissed for a second, but it's okay. We found it.
You were finding it. That's when you have those good balls. You find them.
We found it. Went bogey par in the next 3 holes. So I'm good.
That's right, guys. On days that we have the Spin Doc on, we can go a little long. So I only have bets or looking to bet in the 5 pitchers that we posted to talk about on Twitter. Time permitting, we will still talk about other guys you guys have asked about or put in the chat for us to talk about. So I will not talk about Blake Snell. Blake, sorry. Call him whatever you want. Sorry, not sorry. Sometimes you gotta learn. Sometimes you just gotta learn when to give in. And I've given in. So figure that problem child out some other time. So let's talk some baseball, guys. On this show, we use FanDuel lines and compare them to PrizePicks unless stated otherwise. We are now 7 to 8 games deep into the season, some being 9. So we will not bring up last year's numbers unless it is a drastic difference from where they are at now. First guy on the board, guys. Whew. And I love every guy on the board today. So let's just talk some good K-props. Number 46 on the black book, Zac Gallen at the Pirates. This year, he's got a 32.1 K percentage and an elite 3.7 walk percentage. Opening line 7+ -130. Closing line on FanDuel is at a -128. You can get out there -120-ish roughly on some of the books. PrizePicks has him at a 6.5, whereas hits allowed on PrizePicks under over 5. Projected lineup today for your Buccos: 5 lefties, 4 righties. K per 9 this year. He has a 12.1 K per 9 at home and a 9.3 K per 9 on the road where he is at today. He does have only 22 innings on the road compared to 35 at home, but lifetime career-wise has actually been better at home than on the road. Lefties, righties this year, oh Lord, Zac Gallen, you are that dude. He got a pretty much straight 11K per nine versus each side of the plate. So it don't matter which lineup you want to put in. It just matters what team he's going to see. Spin Doc, what you got for these fellas?
Yeah. So when I started to break down, so I try to go into a K prop with no preconceived notions, even if I see, like, for example, like Jacob DeGrom at home against Oakland. Like, obviously, you would go in and you would be like, okay, like that's over for sure. I try not to go in with any preconceived notions. For some of the guys we're going to talk about today, it's really hard because I watch these guys every game they pitch, or I watch parts of the replay of when they pitch to look at pitch locations, study their charts on Savant and other places. And it was really, really hard for me to go in without any preconceived notions on Gallen here. I'm glad that I did, and here's why. So the 6.5 number to me makes a whole lot of sense. Gallen has hit this number in 6 of 9 starts this year and is averaging well over 7 Ks per game. That home, road, he's done it in both places. And when you look at the last 15 days for the Pirates, they are K'ing at a 30.6% rate and 324 plate appearances. So everything here would scream the over. Now, here's the problem I have. Gallen's Ks were taken down 1 from average. That's never a good sign when you want to bet the over. Also, this has been, if you look on Gambling Twitter, if you look on other places that give plays and props, it's a public darling. Gallen over, lock of the decade, lock of the century. The line hasn't really moved that much, and the juice hasn't moved a ton either. That's a second warning red flag for me. The third one, which if you look at Gallen, so if you take out the first start of the year, because I believe he opened the season for them, or it was second game. Either way, it was one of the first few games, so no numbers to back it up. You look at Gallen's 8 starts here. When he's faced a team, while Pittsburgh is king versus righties at 30.6% for the last 15 days, they're only at 23.7% for the season, and they're actually just a little bit better than that on their home field. You look at Gallen and you say, at the time he faced them, so when he faced those teams, not now, when he faced them, which teams had a K percentage versus righties of 23.7 or worse, and then 23.6 or better. The teams that he faced on the road that have 23.6% K percentage or less against righties, he's 0 for 2 against this number. That's Texas and San Diego. Missed it both times, 6 and 3. The one time he did hit it was against Milwaukee, who K's a shit ton. And every team that he has faced, no matter what, with 24.5% K percentage against righties or better, he has hit this number. Every single last one. So what you need to ask yourself is, are you going to get the Pirates team that has been swinging away and whiffing like crazy over the last 15 days? Or are you going to get a little bit more what you normally see at home? There's a lot of warning signs here. I wanted to give this over when I jumped in, but when I looked at these numbers and I looked at the line movement, I couldn't get there.
Oh, guess what? You know I am, bro. At the end of the day, I can't say no to good old Zac Gallen, and I'll tell you why I cannot say no. Now, if you watch this show from day one, guys, going back to last year, you can go back through multiple episodes, and I guarantee you I was speaking Cy Young, Zac Gallen before the whole world was. And the guy has always talked about this goal, guys. Every year, his goal is to make the top 10 on the Cy Young list, and he has done that every year so far, and as the leading front runner on every book right now to win the National League Cy Young. And I get it, guys. He has been that dude. So, yeah, Zac Gallen versus these type of teams. So let's talk about it. Yeah, I think the Marlins lost the trade, but that's okay. What would this Marlins team be if they didn't trade for Jazz Chisholm and kept them some Zac Gallen, guys? Like, oh, They already got a plethora of guys that they're putting in the minors right now because they're just like, no, we don't have room for you. Rogers is hurt, guys. Braxton Garrett, when people are up, like, won't even have room on this team. Like, they are so stacked in pitching, and they lost that deal for sure. So let's talk about this guy right now. At the end of the day, he just talked. They are striking out at an absurd 30.5% clip over the last 15 days. And they're not hitting the ball for the life of them. Now, Gallen seen these Pirates 2 times last year. One of those times, they were not hitting, and their K percentage was a straight 24%. He just went 7 innings with 8 punch-outs. And if we want to look at this year alone, Gallen has faced 4 teams with a K percentage of 24 or worse and is 4-0 to the over 6.5, averaging 10.3 strikeouts a game. And we have a fucking 30% here. Oh, God. A guy who's been striking out both sides of the plate equally. And if we go back to last season, when he faced a team with a 26.5 K percentage or worse, he is 3-1 to the over, averaging 9.3 strikeouts a game in this spot. The spot from the baseball gods. And I'm on the over 6.5, guys, minus 130. I see no reason for those who do like ladders to take him to that 9 spot, as he averages 9.2 to 10.3 in 9 games of me hitting his averages, guys. So this dude is a monster. This team is striking out over the last 15 days, and that's the way I track every freaking game. So when he sees a team like this, he goes out and puts their nuts on their chin. So Zac Gallen to the moon today, guys. I love it. Anything else to add?
Oh, let's go.
Next guy on the book is Shane motherfucking McClanahan, guys, a.k.a. Shane McDaddy-O versus the Brewers in another God matchup. Number 15 in the black book. 2023 has got a 29.6 K percentage and 11.7 walk percentage. Morning line, because it took forever because they didn't want to drop this guy's props because they knew everybody and their mom was going to freaking murder him today, was 8+ minus 140 on DK, 7+ minus 134 was the closing line on FanDuel. PrizePicks has them at a flat 8, whereas earned runs under over are at 1.5. Projected lineups is 7 righties, 2 lefties for your Brewers. K per 9 this year, he has an immaculate 13.3 K per 9 at home and a 9 K per 9 on the road. Lefties, he has a 9 K per 9 as well as an 11.3 K per 9 versus the right-handed side. What you got for these guys on our boy?
I mean, this is one where I've talked on this show a lot about this. There's 2 options here. It's to pass and move on to the next game or play the over, playing the under, and this is just not an option in any way, shape, or form. If you have watched any semblance of the Brewers against lefties, you will know that they are just god-awful terrible. And if you've watched McClanahan pitch once or twice at home, you'll know he is just fucking disgustingly good. I mean, there's just so many numbers that support this. 87th percentile chase rating, 93rd percentile whiff rating. The 20th percentile walk rating for the year might give you a little bit concerned, but that's not what the Brewers do against lefties. Way well below league average, especially lately, and especially on the road. The other thing here is that really the only thing that can stop McClanahan tonight, to me, is McClanahan. That hasn't happened this year. His velo is up on nearly all of his pitches, especially on his 4-seam, which you would think it's kind of weird to say, like, yeah, Shane McClanahan's velo is up. It's actually up. He's averaging 97 on that 4-seam and is putting that thing on painting the corners a lot better than he has in previous years. So I don't see any reason why he can't get 8 tonight. I really don't see any reason why he can't get 10. It all depends on in what fashion do the Rays want to use him, because the Rays have had times where he gets in that 85 to 90 pitch range, and yeah, they could send him out for one more, but then they pull him. So really, if you want him to go deep in this game, the inning he's on before his last, you're going to want him to be in that low 80s pitch count. Otherwise, there's a chance that the Rays could pull him. It doesn't really make a difference because the Brewers are swinging the bat so horseshit lately that he might have it by then. Shit, he might have it by the 4th inning.
Hey, I've been seeing 99 and 100s at times, bro. Like you just said, that's his average, what he's averaging, dude. When that dude's and then he breaks you off with an 83 mile per hour slider, bro. It's like, changeup. Oh Lord. So, yeah. Oh, I love me some good old Shane McClanahan, guys. And if you don't, you should probably get in line. Shane McClanahan versus these bum Brewers, guys, at the end of the day. Why do they got to do Shane McDaddy-O like that? Because I figured they would give us a 7.5, just not the juice they put on it, guys. You know, he has only hit this 40% of his last 10. So I expected them to, tax it a little bit. But now they gave us about 35, 45, 50 cents worth of juice because of who the Brewers are and who Shane McClanahan is, guys. We just talked about the front runner for the National League Cy Young. This is the front runner right here for the American League Cy Young. God willing injury, this guy's going to win it this year. There's no one going to stop this man. And let's talk about Shane McClanahan and why I am on this over 7.5. I got -135, guys. And like Spin just talked about the Brewers numbers, they are walking just a tiny bit league average if you go back to 200 plate appearances. But over the last 15 days, they're not. They're striking out at a godly 30%, and they're bottom 5 in every hitting category to boot. And when they have made contact versus a left-handed pitcher, guys, they are 70% medium to soft contact. 50% of the time they have hit the ball on the fucking ground, guys, which when you do have a problem with walking people, a nice one gets you two real freaking quick, guys. At the end of the day, this is a God spot for a God man. And I love to talk about watching post-game interviews. And if you watch the post-game interview last week versus the Yankees, he was so disgusted with himself that after the 5th inning, he just straight had a blow-up inning and shit the bed, guys. And he was humming. But I knew right then and there it was going to happen, guys. He sat for over 30 freaking minutes, 2 pitching changes, and that is the worst thing for a guy who is fucking humming the way Shane was humming versus those Yankees up until that point, guys. So we get a pissed off Shane McClanahan in a spot, guys, that since last year, guys, he's only seen 5 teams with a K percentage of 24 or worse. But we got a fucking 30, fellas. And McClanahan is 4-1 to the over, 7.5. 3-0 out the division while averaging 9 strikeouts a game. There's the 1.5 wiggle room I ask for on the 7.5, guys. And on top of 3 games out the division, if you take out just the games out the division, guys, he had 9 or more in every game, averaging 10 strikeouts a game. This is a guy pitching to a team who's never seen him in a place where he's the most comfortablest in the world, and that is Rays Stadium, guys. He is going to be on a sick one today at the end of the day. Monty smacked his prop. Kershaw went out there and freaking hit the 8. Didn't get that crazy plus money that the books eventually moved it to him. But this team's whiff percentage is disgusting, guys. And this guy is a machine. So at the end of the day, I had to double up on Shane McClanahan. I also took him for the win at plus 105 today. So I've got Shane McClanahan for the win straight up at plus 105. And then I've got the over 7.5 as well. I might just take 7 and bet him to win too, guys. Like I'm that big on Shane McClanahan today, guys. Like he is that guy to back in this type of spot.
If there was any pitcher on the card today that you would consider that you would think about laddering, if somebody would tell me, hey, I can ladder one pitcher on the card today and only one, this would be my recommendation. This guy would be the recommendation 100 times out of 100. Not even a question. I wouldn't even think twice about it, to be honest with you.
I mean, if they didn't put him at 7.5, so you got to go 8, 9. You got to go get 9. Fuck
I'd
me.
go to 9. I'd go to 9 at home.
Oh, yeah. But, dude, these guys like to ladder all the way up and then get mad if you don't hit the whole fucking ladder.
Yeah.
So it's like
one more number for everybody with the McClanahan one. So over the last 15 days, swing metrics, there's one of my gold standard metrics is CSW, which is called strikes and whiff percentage. It's the combined metric, how many times they have been called strike or whiffing. The Brewers are at 29.3% over the last 15 days. Would you like to know how many teams are worse than that? That many. Not a single one. Not a single one. The next closest, Oakland, is at 29.1. So they have a worse CSW percentage than the Oakland fucking Athletics. And they're going against Shane McClanahan on the road. That's why I said you pass on this game or you take the over. You cannot take the under. It's not an option. Don't even look at it.
Don't even look at it. But you know what is an option is hitting that like button. Almost 70 live and 33 likes. We don't ask for much, guys, but to hit the like button, it do help the algorithms a lot. Let's start with the trend of the day, guys, which is over Friday. So Black Book number 53, Joe Ryan versus or at the Angels. 2023 has a 29.7 K percentage with an elite 3.6 walk percentage. Opening line 7+ minus 120 on DK. Closing line is minus 116 on FanDuel. PrizePicks has him at 6.5. Hits, earned runs, outs were not available on PrizePicks. Projected lineup for your Angels, and I just want the projected lineup. That's all. 6 righties and 3 lefties. K per 9, 2023. He has an immaculate 12.8 K per 9 at home. He is on the road here with an 8.7, but he has only pitched 19 innings at home compared to 31 on the road. So they can't put too much into that, but we'll put a lot into that 29.7 that he does have next to his name. Lefties, he's striking out at an 8K per 9, while righties an elite 12.8 K per 9. That goes back pretty much throughout his career. He's always dominated righties and had a tad bit trouble with the left-handed side. Spin, what you got for these guys?
Yeah, I'm with you in that once lineups are out, I will probably have a much better, much clearer picture. Joe Ryan is one of the finalists to be on my card for this evening. The problem that I have here is twofold. Number one, last 15 days, Angels only striking out 21.1% of the time against right-handed pitchers, 455 plate appearances. They aren't walking that much either. They're only at 6.4%, which Joe Ryan has walked virtually nobody this year, so that shouldn't present an issue. The other problem is Ryan has the best chase rating actually among, and for some of his pitches, the best chase rating in all of Major League Baseball. He's in the 99th percentile. The issue here is that over that same time period, the Angels do have a below average swing rate outside of the zone, and they also have an above average contact rate outside of the zone. And they are also numero uno, as in number 2. I'm sorry. The Nats are first in that's lowest. I talked about how the Brewers were the worst. Angels are the best. One of the best, 25.9% CSW rating. There's really nothing in their swing metrics that would indicate that that they're going to go fishing a whole lot tonight. So I'd have to rely on the number of right-handed batters. When you compare it this year, Ryan, 23.5% against lefties, 36.2% against righties. So if we can get the majority of the Angels lineup tonight to be righties, that would have me interested. Otherwise, this one is just a touch too close for me.
I think I might be able to sway your opinion on
Do
this
it.
one.
Do it.
As long as we get our lineup, at least. We about to talk about these last 15 days.
Yeah.
Today, to me, guys, seems like Christmas. And I mean, what is Christmas, guys? Christmas is the type of thing as an adult that pays for your bills. And nobody pays for nothing else for me right now. So Sharpie needs to pay for it. So let's talk about Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan, guys, is actually in a really good spot after I did about 45 minutes to an hour just doing more and more and more. Like, I think I got it. And let's talk these Angels numbers. Like you said, over the last 15 days versus right-handed pitchers, they're not really walking, but they're not also striking out. Well, they're being top 5 in average and top 8 in OPS, but middle of the pack in isolated power. So it says they're killing people, eh? Let's look at our guys who the Angels have faced in that time period, guys. And I think I found the golden ticket. And what I found is Tanner Bybee, who has a 25K percentage and a 4.5 walk percentage, went 7.2 innings with 7 strikeouts. Eovaldi went with a 26.2K percentage and a 4.3 walk percentage, went 8 innings with 5 strikeouts. Hunter Brown, Grayson Rodriguez, they got hit hard. And what do they have in common? They both have a walk percentage at least 1% above league average. The last guy they seen of ours, guys, was Christian Javier, who, like Joe Ryan, has a K percentage above 28 and a walk percentage below 6. And Javier murdered these boys, guys, going 6 innings with 11 strikeouts. And what do we have here, guys? Ooh, someone by the numbers who actually is better than Christian Javier at this time of the year, guys. In a dream matchup to me, guys, if they put out the type of right-handed bats that I am looking for. So we get this number down low, in my opinion, at this minus 120 because of he did face them once last year when the numbers actually said he should have actually had a really good time. And he didn't hit his strikeout props then, guys. But this guy, to me, is either over or nothing, and it is strictly depending on the lineups. He is the ace of the staff, guys. Pablo or not, guys. Pablo came to this team. Remember that. Anything else to add on to Joe Ryan?
No, I would just be looking for 5 right-handed bats or more.
Yeah, I'm a vagina with how much action I got. I need
Yeah.
6.
Oh, okay. See, I need 5. I need 5 to get me interested. And if it's 6 or more, then sign me the up.
Bleep, 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 bleep.
Sign me the fuck up. Yep.
All right, let's talk the other guy of this matchup, 69, and I hope these boys don't do that together. Reed Detmers versus the Twins. And what looks like another dream matchup. 2023, he has a 26.3 strikeout percentage and a 9 walk percentage. Opening line was 6+ at -140. He's now at a -150. 6 on PrizePicks, where his pitching outs under over 17.5. And that to me tells me that, oh, good Lord, can Reed Detmers really have that day today? Because why the fuck is it at 17.5? Because they're going to get a bunch of under money, guys. And usually when they ask for a bunch of under money, it's not good. But let's talk about projected lineups. It is 8 righties and 1 left-handed bats. K per 9, 2023. He has a 11 K per 9 at home and a 10.2 on the road. He has 35 innings, guys. So super small sample size, but it is split up pretty much close to even. Lefties, he's striking out at a 9 K per 9. Well, righties, he's striking out at an 11 K per 9. Let's talk about your Twinnies.
So my Twins, yeah. So first of all, over the last month, 256 plate appearances against left-handed pitching, a dismal 27.3% K percentage. This has been a theme all season for them. Depending on their lineups and how they have things ordered, they just can't. They can figure out how to hit left-handed pitching. They just can't figure out how to not strike out against it. And, interestingly enough, when you think about, like the common thing would be like, well, they have Joey Gallo. Of course not. It hasn't been Gallo. It's been Buxton. It's been a few others. It's actually been Polanco since he's come back from injury.
Carlos Correa.
It's been Correa, but it has not been Joey Gallo. They're actually hitting him leadoff. Joey Gallo's batting leadoff, which should tell you about what he's doing making contact. The man's having a renaissance year. He needs his teammates to help him here. I don't know if that happens tonight, though. When you look at the Twins swing metrics over the same time period, for total contact during the last 15 days, similar metric to the Brewers. How many teams have had less contact over the last 15 days than the Twins? That would be this many. None. 73.7, which is a full 3.5% below MLB average, guys. That is hugely significant when you factor that this was calculated over almost 1,700 plate appearances. That's ginormous. The Twins are also dead last in swinging strike percentage. They are also almost dead last in contact percentage inside the zone. Why is that important? The reason why that's important is because Reed Detmers has a healthy first strike percentage at 64.1%, and the Twins are doing their part. Their first strike percentage is well over 61%. So, I don't know how you look at an under here. Not sure if the over is pretty juiced at this point, but I'm just not sure that you can look at an under any circumstances with the Twins, especially on their second West Coast road trip.
I freaking hear you actually there, bro. At the end of the day,
and
it's over for me. I'm on them.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, haven't decided fully yet, but if you follow my tout K-prop, you might be hearing about Mr. Detmers from me just a little bit.
Yeah, you might be hearing about Mr.
Minor spoiler alert. Minor spoiler alert. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Sharpie. Go ahead.
No, bro. At the end of the day, it's gonna take me extra time because I'm trying to be nice and write down timestamps for people to make the recap only like a minute long. So
yeah,
it's fine. Now, guys, we get a guy who's been really good to us in these spots this year, and he seems to cash early in those games and then get taken to the fucking woodshed third time through the lineup in those games, a la Brewers and Rangers. But we cash, so we crushing it, and we're going to go right back to the well with our guy in a spot where he's now not the same guy as last year, where I wouldn't even bet this guy. And we've talked about it. He's added 3 miles per hour of velocity to every pitch over the offseason. And he's been bet on for K props. Now, I'm not talking about betting money lines and shit like that. At the end of the day, he has crumbled and a la pulled a David Peterson on me multiple times, guys. Like, he's cruised the first 3 innings, gotten 1 strikeout away, and then, oh God, I'm glad they don't have that bullpen warrant sometimes, guys, because if you didn't get the 5.5 versus the Brewers, you got smacked by chasing the 6.5 that day, guys. Now, to me, this ain't the Brewers. Actually, this might be an actual better a better thing. So the Twins, guys, depending on how you look at it, they've been striking out versus everybody, lefties or righties, but specifically the left-handed side. And they're walking league average, but they're striking out 26 to 27%, depending on their last 190 to 200 plate appearances. And bottom 6 in every freaking hitting category that you can think of, guys. So Detmers this year versus teams with a K percentage of 24 or worse. And we are 3-0 when taking him this year at that point, guys. And he's been a 5.5 every time. And most of the time, it's been no higher than a minus 126. Today, we do see the most juice on it. And I get it, guys. At the end of the day, I get it. So the 5.5 right here is key to me. And it's because this guy does have an issue third time through the lineup. I got in last night on a minus 140, 5.5. And this year alone, Detmers has faced 4 teams with a K percentage of 24 or worse, and is 4-0 to the over 5.5, averaging only 6 strikeouts. Yes, I normally do ask for wiggle room, but when you have one every time for me in this type of situation, that's one thing I can't ignore. Another thing, guys, is this is the second best chase percentage he's going to see. Granted, they're almost league average if you look at the whole year, guys, and it's still going to be the second best he's ever seen, and it will be the worst chase percentage he's ever seen, guys. So at the end of the day, this adds up to a really, really good spot for a team who's never seen him. So give me Reed Detmers over 5.5 minus 140. And like we've been talking ladders all day, like something in the outs is telling me to ladder this guy, guys. He has only hit the over 17.5 one time this year. Everybody and their mom is going to go put money on this under. And I'm not saying I think he goes over. It's just strictly me reading the lines. If this dude goes 6 innings, he has 9 strikeouts, guys. Like, if he goes 6 innings, he's murking these boys. So at the end of the day, I'm on Detmers. Anything else to add on?
No, other than just, for those that follow me, you know how big of a numbers person I am. I make almost all my decisions based on logic, numbers, math. Try to keep, names, emotions, whatever out of it. But this is one where I can confidently say I watch this team every game. For those that really don't know, I'm from there. I'm from Minnesota. I watch the Twins every single game. They are my squad that I ride or die with. I've watched them way too many times and watched their discipline in situations like this, especially the first game of a road series. And what I believe that you'll have tonight is you'll have some antsy bats up there, especially if guys like Buxton are in the lineup, because look, on the road, that man is trying to hit the ball to Mars. That's what he does. He swings aggressively. He hacks at pitches. He's trying to go for the big play, the big pop. It's just who he is. Polanco has had some of the same tendencies in coming back. The eye test for me tells me that these guys will be swinging early and often, and Detmers has made teams that do that pay.
Hey, the eye test then goes with the numbers, bro. So let's go read Detmers in a spot that you've been really good to us. And let's talk to Sandy, man. Number 28 in the black book, Sandy Alcantara at the Giants, Los Gigantes. 2023 has a 22.9 K percentage with a 6.5 walk percentage. Opening line on FanDuel is 7+ minus 102. He's at the same, but there is some plus money out there up to plus 110. 6.5 on PrizePicks, pitching outs on PrizePicks under over 19.5, where it's 18.5 on the book. So PrizePicks being a little janky there. Projected lineups is 5 lefties and 4 righties for your Giants. K per 9 this year, 8.1 at home, 9.5 on the road. Only 18 innings of work, though, compared to 33 at home. Lefties, he's got a 9.7 K per 9 this year. And righties a 7.5, guys. That's a way abnormally different for Sandy Alcantara, guys. It's pretty much been flipped like that throughout his whole career, where he's normally dominated the right-handed side and put lefties out at about that 7.5 K per 9. So, what you got for the fellas on the Sandy Man?
Man, hard for me to really get that excited about this one when you got an East Coast team traveling all the way out west, especially after a home series. And when I look at the projected lineup for the Giants, 78 plate appearances against Alcantara, just 10 strikeouts, 12.8%. Now, this Giants team is a little bit different in terms of their approach to the plate, their approach to swinging. I get that. But when I look at all of Sandy's numbers, you know, the only one that really just kind of gets me like, ooh, like that could be a thing, is how deep into games he goes and how many opportunities he would have to hit something like a 7+. When I look at, you know, where Alcantara's strengths are, chase rate, obviously one of them, 88th percentile for the year, especially on his fastball. However, when I do look at the Giants recently, under league average, actually 26.5% swing rate outside of the zone. That is well under the 28.3% that has been league average over the last 15 days. They don't make as much contact when they swing, but they don't swing that much to begin with. So for me, for a team traveling east to west, for a bigger number like that, I know it's the Giants, and I know they've been prone to striking out a shit ton. This one for me seems like the kind of game where it can just frustrate the shit out of you, where Alcantara will pitch like 7 innings and finish with 6 strikeouts. So now with that in mind, the Giants have been on my no under list for multiple weeks now. So I crossed that off before I even capped them. So over or pass for me, it's probably going to be a pass for me.
And guess who is not gonna fucking pass,
All right,
guys?
do it.
Charpy won't pass, guys. The Sandy Man can. And I mean, he can go out there and do the damn thing is what I'm getting at. And I mean, I'm on Alcantara over 6.5 strikeouts at -102. And when I capped it, guys, I had +10 to even money without the Giants tax, and we got no tax. Thank you, baby Jesus. And before we get into it, guys, even talk about these Giants numbers, let's just talk about our guys versus this team this year. Aces. Garrett Cole 10, Cease 8, Darvish 9. Darvish is another guy who needs high whiff percentage, like the Sandy Man. And Wheeler the other day got us 7 and cashed as well. Gallen, the only one who didn't, did exactly what the man just said. He thinks that if he doesn't cash, can go out there and do, and he went 7.2 innings and only had 6 strikeouts. They are guys. Then our number 2s was Lance Lynn. He went out there and got 8 versus this team. And then we get into our mid rotations and rookies, guys. And yes, they got to Hunter Brown, and Senga couldn't throw a strike that day, so those two didn't come close. But Edward Cabrera of this same ass Marlins team went out there and got an 8-piece. So yeah, the Giants by the numbers are walking above league average. They're not striking out, but are also bottom 10 in all hitting categories. And what I like the best for Alcantara and what I circle, guys, is whiff percentage. And the Giants are 6th worst in the league whiff percentage. Missing pitches inside the zone is what we need for a strike thrower like Alcantara. This year, when Alcantara has gone up outside the division, he has only faced one team in bottom 10 whiff percentage, and that was the Reds last week, where he had 9 strikeouts in 7.2 innings. We almost get a whole percent worse when we get to these Giants, guys, than what we just seen with these Reds, guys. They're not a team that does go fishing all year by the numbers, but like my guy just said, they're starting to fish, and more often to that fastball. This guy will attack you with a fastball on a 0-2 count. He wants fucking weak ground balls, guys, and if you're going to fucking miss that, guys, and they are missing right now, guys, he is going to get his strikeouts, and I'm on that over 6.5. If we go back to last year, not counting back-to-backs, with a team with a whiff percentage above 27 or worse versus Alcantara, he is 8-1 to the over, guys, 6.5, averaging averaging 9 strikeouts a freaking game, guys. We've got plenty of wiggle room on this one, and a spot he's done well, and a spot all our aces has done well. So I'm on Alcantara over 6.5 minus 102, and definitely try not to let this week get in the way. And I haven't put it in yet, but I definitely see myself on the over 18.5 outs minus 135. It's just, I'm kicking myself in the nuts for double betting some people and going 1-1. And I don't bet just to lose juice or go even. Like, that's not what I'm here for. But if anything did correlate, it's this man's strikeouts with this man's innings. So anything else to add on?
No, I can definitely see the outs for this one. Like I said, I can easily see him going 7 tonight. Easily 7 tonight.
We get this low outs because he's only hit this over 3 times, man. But Sandy went on a mission last year and did just 7. So this is, and what else before you quick out on? I'm noticing how he pitches after Yuri. They're not letting go more than like 80 pitches.
Yep.
So they're using their pin that day, knowing Alcantara's coming in the next day, which means he's going deep. That's what he does.
Yep.
So I'm on something else to add in, but go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I know a few people did have some questions, and are guys that I can give a rat's ass about, but I know the guy next to me caps everybody, and he even told me, gosh damn it, Sharpie, I've got to cap Blake Snell. So anything on Bryce Miller, Kikuchi, and Blake Snell, just real quick touch on that.
Yeah. So Bryce Miller made it through a number of rounds of cuts. I cap every pitcher, enter all the numbers in my model, and then cut things down based on thresholds. I'll spare you the details, but anyways, the thing that cut Bryce Miller off for me was twofold. Number one was the jump to 5.5. He's been getting 3 to 4 with relative ease, with the exception of his first start against Oakland. 1, because it's Oakland, and 2, because nobody knew who he was. Now that people are starting to get film on him, starting to get scout on him, he's getting to 3 to 4 with relative ease, and then it gets kind of dicey. You saw it against the Astros where he got to 5, and then it was like the strikeouts just stopped. So that's number one. Number 2 is that where Bryce in his limited action has shined is he's got an 85th percentile chase rating. He gets guys to go fishing, especially on his fastball when he runs it up in the zone. My issue with this one is that the Braves are one of their top 5 in the league in contact outside of the zone. They swing aggressively outside of the zone as well. They're actually well above league average in that category, but they make contact. And so when you have that combination, and then you have a younger pitcher who isn't as experienced against a very experienced Braves lineup, the 5.5 on the road is a little bit too much for me. So I'm just passing all the way on Bryce Miller. I wouldn't blame you if you took his over because the kid has just electric stuff. For Kikuchi, yeah, I mean, if you're playing it over, makes sense. My problem with Kikuchi is always that he pitches himself out of a game, and that can happen. It doesn't make any damn bit of difference whether he's done it in his last, 3 of his last 5 or 8 of his last 20. It doesn't make a difference. The man can just go out there and have a blow up. And that's why I'm always afraid to take him at anything more than a 4.5. And then who was the other one? Was it my buddy Blake?
Yeah, your buddy, because I don't know him no more, bro. If I see him in San Diego, I might catch my 3rd strike.
The Blake Snell fucking experience. Yeah, I try not to put any money on Blake Snell anymore, because whether you're on him or whether you're fading him, it's always going to be an adventure, and it's always going to be a sweat. It doesn't make a difference. Few numbers for Blake. Boston is one of the best teams in the league at not striking out against lefties. 20.1% K percentage, last 259 plate appearances. Snell does have a 28.6% K percentage against this lineup, but that's in very limited action. That's less than 50 plate appearances. And, this year, the thing that Snell has done, he hasn't done a ton of things well pitching, but he has gotten whiffs, 89th percentile whiff rating, especially with his breaking ball. When I combine that with what Boston's been doing lately, Boston's swinging strike rate is one of the top 5 lowest in the league, both last 15 days and for the whole season. So the only thing that's really scaring me for this one too is the fact that like we have a over 5.5 that is juiced. It shouldn't be that way. This should be equal juice on both sides of the 5.5. They're putting a little bit too much on Snell being at home, or maybe they know something about Boston's lineup. Either way, with it being Blake Snell, I don't want anything to do with it.
I mean, if I just because you said lineup, quick guesses. Boston runs so many lefties, bro. Like you really don't want to put that many lefties in there versus Blake Snell, but they are a patient team. They'll get the 2 strikes and then just battle, bro. Just foul ball, foul ball, foul ball, foul ball. You're like, you fucking prick. You freaking brick. Yeah. But yeah, guys, I personally do not bet guys in my book. Bryce Miller, guys, looks to be getting a spot very soon. As you know, I've washed my freaking hands with Blake Snell. He is dead to me. And like he just said, Kikuchi, guys, he's pitched semi-decent this year. But if you look at his track record, he normally starts the season that way. And I don't expect him to be, guys. At the end of the day, he's either over or not, but like you said, he's wildly effective, and I don't want to be involved with a guy who's wildly effective. I'd look at guys who have high chase rates or low walk percentages if I was to ever think about playing the Kuchinator, guys. So we've got a new way we're going to hit these quick recaps. Now, it's only going to be a minute long, so get in where you fit in. Shout out to some people who gave me a little bit of constructive criticism, and I may have barked at you at first. Big show. Today, guys, on the Balking Dead, we talked about how we're going to have a day and get this money back from what can be a week that can go blow itself. But we're firing today, guys, because why? Keep firing, assholes! And I had to today, guys. I circled this day a while back, so let's get to the money. I'm on Zac Gallen, over 6.5, minus 130. If you want the breakdown for that, go back to the 8:36 mark of today's episode of The Balking Dead, obviously, no fucks for my breakdown, guys. Then we go to a matchup of the baseball gods. I double dipped on Shane McClanahan, over 7.5 strikeouts, minus 135, and I have him to get the win straight up. No case hook to it at a plus 105. If you want the breakdown for Shane McClanahan, go back to the 14:30 mark of today's episode. Today we talk Joe Ryan and how I want the over on his strikeouts, but I need at least 6 right-handed bats for me to get my toes in the sand. The other side of this game is where we do have a bet, and that's Reed Detmers over 5.5 at minus 140. If you do want my breakdown on him, go to the 29-minute mark of today's episode. Then we finish with the Sandy Man, guys, at the Giants. And once again, I'm on the over 6.5 here, guys. The only thing that I haven't put the bet in yet was his outs yet. And if it ever correlated with anybody, it is the Sandy Man. And you can go to the 3650 of today's episode if you want the breakdown on Sandy Alcantara. Yesterday, guys, with Noli, we talked about dropping a link for the fundraiser. He's doing for the Long Beach 9U All-Star team. I'm going to drop the link in the chat, and if anyone could help $1 to whatever, guys, it goes a long way. And if you screenshot your donation, he said he'll give you his whole month for the rest of the month, guys. And the boot, guys, I'll give you my picks for the week. Just DM us both the screenshot that you donated, and we appreciate it, guys. It really is for the kids. At the end of the day, guys, I grew up in a very troubled home, to say the least, and sports were my getaway. And if it wasn't for people donating and helping me out, I would have never have gone to no Pop Warner National Championships at the Walt Disney World twice, guys. My family didn't go. People paid for me to go and stay in those type of places, guys. So appreciate you all that can help. A little cash goes a long way when you're helping out with kids, guys. It is Friday, and with UFC cracking off tomorrow, guys, my producer, who happens to be the best producer in the whole world, has a podcast out with a few of the pub crew, Billy Brizen, MMA Locker Room. They have a backyard talk with the boys for over the weekend fights, guys, and they've been feeding people winners. If you just cap a capper, guys, so show some support to the guy who's shown all the support in the chats, be it MMA, NFL, Twitter, whatever, guys. This guy is there for you. Show him a little bit and be there for him as well. And of course, guys, I want to thank my guy Spin Doc Sports for joining me on what I hope to be a monster Friday of a day. Or I need to be a monster of a day at this point, guys. Speaking of all these charities, don't you got one coming up?
I do. So yeah, so I have wrong side. The red ribbon for my mom. She passed away in 2019 from complications from ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. So we are having a fundraising golf tournament out here in June. And last year we raised $7,500 and we donated that to 2 families, and they were able to hire caretakers to come in and take care of somebody that was in their family that had ALS. So we just want to make it sure so that there's nobody has to go through what we went through, because that disease can go fuck itself.
Yes, sir. You want to tell them where they can find you and what you got going on for the rest of the weekend? Because you're
Yeah.
back on Pub Sports on Monday.
Yeah, at Spin Doc Sports. I'll be posting a public play very, very shortly. And I'll do that throughout the weekend. And yeah, back next week. So let's have a day. Let's have a weekend.
I need one. You've been hot. So let's keep this shit going, guys. This show is sponsored by PrizePicks. If you haven't, go on over to PrizePicks. Use promo code PubSports. Get a match deposit of $100. Minimum of 25 on your first deposit, guys. 60 something in here live. We didn't hit 50 likes. That kind of blows, guys. You know I don't freaking bitch about much, but I will bitch about that, guys. So until next time, he's Spin Doc Sports. I'm Sharpie's Bets. This show is produced by Big Show Picks and on Pub Sports Radio. Some say we be pubbing. I say pubbing we be.
Keep firing, assholes!